Okay, we are going to do Madeira rums next week, assuming my nose holds up. I'm still a little bit stuffy. I'm at maybe 95%. So we're going to put that off a little bit longer and do a little twofer. And we're going to go to Venezuela. Venezuelan rum right now is, in my opinion, kind of oversold in the perceptions of the, let's say, the current generation of rum nerds. And there's a reason for that. Way back in the day, Diplomatico. There's some other prominent Venezuelan rums out there, but it was really Diplomatico. Diplomatico, along with Zacapa in Guatemala, were really kind of put forward as the quintessential premium rums. 15 years ago, if you walked into a liquor store and asked them, what is the best rum I can buy on the shelf for a reasonable amount of money, they would probably point you to Diplomatico or Zacapa. And all this went very well for a while until everyone figured out what anyone with the palate had figured out for a long time, which is that they were all just dumping a whole bunch of sugar and other stuff into these rums. So you're basically spending $40-50 for a liqueur, and not a particularly good liqueur at that. And there were other issues: the fake age statements, the crappy bottling presentation. Lots of issues were happening with the premium rums of the day. But I think it was the sugar one that kind of finally put everyone off. And good riddance. I'm glad to be rid of them. The paradox, and I shouldn't say paradox, maybe this was what this is what I should have expected, honestly, was that people blamed the countries for this, and the workers and the distilleries. Those were the people who got blamed for this, not the gigantic international companies buying up huge amounts of bulk alcohol and then, fiddling with it and selling at a huge margin. No, it's Venezuela's fault. Why? Because Venezuela, and is now still perceived to make, and imagine I am using big old quotation marks when I say this, Spanish-style rum. Let's get this out of the way. I love y'all. I love all y'all a lot. Thank you for watching me. But if I catch any of you saying the term Spanish-style rum without gigantic quotation marks around it, you're getting shanked. You're not. You're getting a lecture. Venezuela, to name one of many examples, has been independent of Spain since 1822, 1821, somewhere over there. They've been outside of European rule longer than Canada has. By a century and a half or something. I think only Canada got full sovereignty only in the 80s or something. So these folks do not give Spain credit for what they are doing. But even then, even if you substitute, as I sometimes do, if you want to say, well, what a lot of the time people mean by that term is something like Cuban-style rums, because you're talking about really a style that's coming out of Cuba during the days under American rule, when 50s businessmen were going to Cuba to get drunk and cheat on their wives. That's true, but even then, Venezuela doesn't really fit that, because there's still a lot of batch distillation, pot distillation going on. It's not a lot of blended rums going on. It just doesn't fit the standard bill as well as you think of it. Anyways, point being, I think Venezuelan rums are fine. I think they're very, very interesting and worth your time, and currently not very expensive. So let's try some. But you do annoyingly have to go, for the most part, to the independent bottlers, because Like a lot of producers a lot of producers and distilleries in Central and South America, you just the official, so-called official bottlers just don't present these things as well as they should. So you have to go to the Indies. We got two of them here, and one of them I know the distillery, the other one I don't. So this first one, thanks John, is Rasta Morris, 2008 Venezuela, no-name distillery, but it's an 11-year-old. This was distilled January 2008, spent most of its life aging in Venezuela at the origin until 2017, where it was sent to the UK, and then it was finally bottled in November 2019. And this is 63.1% alcohol, and it is all column still. This is actually, the second bottle is a little bit weaker, but I wanted to go up by age. Let's get started. Yeah, I mean, these are just... Once you get outside of the Pamperos and the Diplomaticos, and you get just a well-presented version of what these rums can be, they're pretty damn good. Right off the bat, I'm getting RC Cola that's been marinating flowers. That's what this smells like. It's really floral. It's very just cola driven as well. Yeah, banana peel, black tea leaves. There's a little bit of a green hint in there, maybe some spearmint, wintergreen. Yeah, those of you who enjoy what's come out recently, Shakara, the from Thailand, not the Fela Kutia, the Velier bottling of Thai rum. Those of you who are into that will love this. Some black pepper, tangerine peel, bergamot peel as well. It's the more exotic side of orange. Some cocoa nibs. Lots of cinnamon. Lots of kind of root beer candy. So we're still mainly staying on RC Cola in terms of the soda notes, but there's that root beer candy thing happening too. And the flowers are very nice. I mean, it smells like just a really darn good example of a molasses-based column still rum that has spent a really good amount of time, a positive amount of time in a bourbon cask. That's what this smells like. On the palate. This is kind of terrific, honestly. I want to see what it does with water, because I get the feeling this is not... Right now, the mouth presence is really, really solid. I don't know if that's going to hold up when I take this down to proof, but right now, I'm kind of impressed. I feel like people are spending a ton of money right now chasing after like old Trinidads, old TDLs, and I feel like they aren't necessarily getting a rum that's that much better than this, if I'm honest. Oh, there's a little cherry creeping through now. Yeah, cherry on the nose, part on the palate. Let's go back. Mm-hmm. Not hugely complex, but it's it's hitting all the bases it needs to hit. Let's talk about the mouth presence first. This arrives very fruity and very sweet. Not actual sugar, just presents sweet. The trick with sugar on rums, don't pay attention so much to the arrival, because the arrival can be super duper sweet without it actually being sugary. Pay attention to the finish. If the finish is syrupy and a little bit cloying, that's your sign that there's been sugar added. Anyway, so it arrives very sweet and fruity. And then it kind of explodes into herbaceousness, pepper, kind of minerality. What is that? Like a, not minerality, like almost an ashy thing. Like cigarette ashtray, but nice. Something like that. So the sweetness on the arrival does not stick around, but the flowers, some of those other like little herbaceous notes, they really stick around nicely. I'm into this. Okay, so flavors. In many ways, I can repeat a lot of the stuff that was on the nose. RC Cola. There's a little bit of a black licorice, black Twizzler thing happening. Some kind of mint again, wintergreen. Let's go spearmint, sure. Banana peel. Vanilla, like root beer candy. Again. A little bit of like a pineapple orange thing on the front end. Or imagine like if Faygo made like a pineapple bergamot, that's a little bit what's going on. Some lime peel as well. This would make a terrific Cuba Libre. I'm drinking this. I need more in my glass. Hold on. Black tea leaves again. That little hints of like not actual chocolate, but like cocoa shells. You can make tea out of it. It's a particular thing. Yeah, cocoa shell tea maybe, along with black tea leaves. Little sage. That kind of ashtray but nice thing. This is lovely. I want to see what water does to this, because I worry that water is gonna crash this a little bit. But that's why we do it, right? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might go 6. Signs are promising. Okay. All right, let's leave that there. We shall come back to it. Now, on to this. It's yet another Rum Artesanal with the little box and stuff. I bought a ton of this because it's reasonably cheap and they don't fiddle with their bottlings too much. This is from an actual identified distillery. It's CADC, CADC, which stands for. Sorry, I made a note. Here, where is it? Where'd it go? Right, Corporación Alcoholes del Caribe. Caribe, sorry. And again, bottled by Rum Artesanal. This is a 2005 bottling, distilled April of that year, bottled October 22. So it's a 17-year-old. Cask number 67, 57.8% alcohol by volume. Again, column-distilled. Could be from the same distillery as this, but again, these folks are not disclosing the distillery. And yeah, let's see what this is. So one interesting thing is those of you watching this who are familiar with the Triple X Rum series, which is now seems kind of defunct, run by the R/Bourbon folks. This is apparently a sister cast to XXX2, which was also from Venezuela, and from CADC. On the nose. Holy moly. I know I mentioned like a black licorice note in this one. No. This smells like black licorice. Yeah, I mean like full-blown, expensive, like Swiss artisanal black licorice. That's what this smells like. We're even getting into like absinthe territory. Oh my god, yeah. I mean, you hand this to me blind, I'm going to think, is this a wood-aged absinthe? What is this? Black licorice, more black licorice. No, there's more to this. Florals. A little bit of like a grandma's potpourri thing. There's a little bit of RC Cola creeping through on this too. No, Pepsi. Sorry, Pepsi. It's really tough to get anything behind the black licorice. It is just over. The aniseed on this is crazy. I'm not mad about that. I'm not as big a black licorice fan as some, but as something to refresh your palate, kind of like the same way that pickled ginger does. It's fantastic. Go find yourself some good black licorice. Black licorice, flowers, Pepsi. What else is on this nose? A little bit of lime peel, maybe. Hint of blood orange. Okay, so some citrus creeping through. And kind of absinthe background notes, but maybe a little hint of wormwood. So it sounds like I'm not getting a lot of notes off of this, and maybe that's true. But the intensity of the floral black licorice thing is so pronounced that, I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'm missing anything from this. It knows it wants to smell like black licorice. Okay, a little more Pepsi creeping in now. Let's give this a shot. I'm a little scared on the palate. For folks out there whose only exposure to Venezuelan rum is the Diplomatico or the Pampero, you need to try this or something like this. In its own way, this is as bonkers a profile as anything else I can think of, as any Coroni or TDL or, I mean, it's in terms of quality, we're not getting into the same territory as some of the high ester Hamptons or anything, but the profile, it's crazy. Like we're at that level of bonkersness. Oh my god. So black licorice. I mean, it's imagine for a second God was a frat boy and God rolled into a party and just decided to make highballs with absinthe and Pepsi. But it's God, so they're going to be awesome. that is what this tastes like. It tastes like a Pepsi absinthe highball. That's amazing. Black licorice, colas, tons of florals. We're leaning more in the potpourri direction than like actual flowers, but I'm okay with that. Black pepper. Touch of black olive, just to remind you that this isn't an actual absinthe. This might be a rum. This is awesome. I love this. I am not much of a mixologist, but I can imagine mixologists having so much fun with it. You could build an entire like cocktail library around this bottle, or if you got a bunch of them. It's so different. Black tea, like awesome tea, malty black tea. Some cherry, lime peel, bergamot. Holy crap. Venezuela, you've been holding out on us. You've been holding out on us. One more sip of this, see if I can get any more notes out. It's very, very single-minded. Like, there's some stuff in the background, but most of it is just a couple of flavors presented as vividly as possible, and it works. Like the development on this is very, very good. The finish is really, really good. You have to like black licorice though, and absinthe, and I don't know, herb saint, whatever. Aniseed stuff. If that is not your thing, you may not be into this, but it is totally one of my things. I'm going to give this some water. We'll come back to it. That I was not expecting that. 2, 3, 4. I think we'll go 5. Okay, I know I was saying nice things about the Rasta Morris a second ago, but I don't think this is going to be close. Once we get to the scoring, but I do want to see what these do with water, because I could see both of these like falling on their face a little bit. But let's see. Back to the Rasta Morris. It's so clean by comparison. I mean, florals, RC Cola, some nice oaky, woody notes. Much more like straight down the middle. If you like Cuban style rums, broadly speaking, so the Shakaras, any of those expensive ass old Cubans you can get from the independents, if you like that stuff, stuff in that vein, you will like this. On the palate, here's where the truth will be found out. No, still holding together. Still holding it together really, really well. Not a ton of development from where it was. In terms of flavors and in terms of the mouth presence, if anything, the mouth presence may have gotten better. Like one of the issues was not really an issue, but was that the initial attack of sweety, fruity cola stuff it kind of like disappeared pretty quickly to be taken over by the herbaceousness and the flowers and the pepper. Here it's holding on a lot longer. It's kind of integrating itself a little bit more with the rest of the development. This is terrific. I mean, I could have a little bit more complexity, a little bit more length. Sure, I can nitpick this, but it's delicious. I like this a lot. I will give this 86 points. 86 points. And if you like this style, and if you're looking for good examples of this style, and God knows there are not a whole lot of good examples of broadly Cuban-style rum out there, this is worth your attention. But let us go back to the 2005 here, the CADC. I mean, who are these people? Like, this is, I think, a bulk alcohol supplier or something. They do their own bottlings, but it's not. It's not a some kind of like artisanal thoroughbred or anything. And yet, this is totally kicking my ass. Okay, we've got a little bit more development going on. I mean, it's still very black licorice, absinthe, florals, Pepsi. But now there's a little bit of an earthiness creeping through. Maybe like one green olive. Maybe some minerality as well. A little bit of like a rock dust thing. Kind of a subtle nuttiness, like cinnamon ginger as well. There's some depth to this. I'm actually really impressed on the palate. Still amazing on the palate. The Rasta Morris stepped up a little bit with water in terms of how was behaving on the palate. This one doesn't. It's kind of just, it stays where it is. Well, no, I mean, the aniseed pepper thing on the finish may be creeping it up a little bit, but not by much. Yeah, it tastes pretty much the same as did neat, and that's okay. I mean, it's not every day that God comes to your frat party and decides to make absinthe and Pepsi highballs. It's what do I say about this? It's a special kind of rum. Not everyone is going to be into this. And the people who are not into this are people who are not into black licorice, aniseed, fennel, absinthe, any of those notes. People who avoid those things will not like this. People who love those things need to get like a case of this stuff pronto. Actually, no, it would be awesome. Like making a Negroni or something with this would be killer. All right, I'm going to stop. Yeah. What am I going to score this? 88. 88 points. This is very, very, very good. It's a special case. You need to know what you're getting into, but that's a fabulous rum. I don't know what they did to make it like that, but I like it. And yeah, that is the video. If you've been sleeping on Venezuela, at least in independent bottlings of Venezuela, now is a good time to get yourself caught up. 86 points for the Rasta Morris. This is just as good a fastball pitched straight over center plate as you can get. You like Cuban style rums that Cuba Libre like a mofo. This is what you want. If you are a licorice freak, however, you want to get this. 88 points for this 2005 CADC. Thanks for watching. My palate may be ruined for the rest of the day. Bye.